Okay. Hello, everybody. I will be having a collab with Silva, which I don't know if I should have put Silva or Safi. I was running very late, so gonna be running pretty behind on that. Okay. Copy. Most of my traffic comes from Twitter, so I definitely want to post on Twitter that I'm live. I've been getting a lot more followers recently, which is definitely interesting. Oh, I should probably have the music going. That would probably help. That would probably help. All right. Okay. Hey, Noel Main. All right. Okay. Okay. Posted that there. Hmm. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Got that posted on Discord. Alrighty. Okay. Got Twitter posted. Okay. Hey, Forever. Hey, Nabiru. Oh, you're semi-lurking? Okay, Nabiru. Hey, Kimberly. Good to see you all. Also, we'll ask if you can like the stream if you're watching on YouTube. It helps a lot with getting more people. You're doing something for reports? Okay, Silva. You're the guest star for tonight. But if you can like the stream, it helps the algorithm with pushing it out to more people. So getting more people to watch the stream would be great. Oh, it's like, oh my goodness. Well, be safe, Forever. Be safe. Be safe. Okay, so... Oh, I need to post on the Book of Faces and on Blue Sky Social that I'm live. Book of Faces, do not fail me now. Okay. Okay. Hey, great, Kimberly. I always appreciate that, giving a thumbs up. Okay. Got everything situated. Me. Okay. Get that all posted. Okay. Got the music going. Let me close GIMP. It's funny. I literally made the thumbnail for this stream minutes, like less than a minute before stream started. Actually, I'm like as stream was supposed to start was when I made right before when stream was supposed to start, because my life is an absolute mess. Okay, I need to get a fan. I really do need to get a fan. My electric company sent me a notification. They're like, "Hey, here's a way you can save on your electricity with the heat. Is like turn your air conditioning, your thermostat to be 4 degrees higher, and then get a fan, because the fan will make it feel like it's 4 degrees cooler, but it just turn the fan off when you leave the room, and the fans cool people, not rooms, and it'll make you feel cooler, and it'll use less electricity than your thermostat." And I'm like, that's interesting. I'd never thought of, like, it's not that I've never thought of using a fan, but it never occurred to me that difference in electric usage between fans and AC. Okay. Alrighty. Where? Okay, got that down there. Okay. Okay, got that. Your stops in front of your house? That's good. That's good forever. That's good. Okay. Lastly, would help if I join the Discord call. Alright. Hello. Alright. They can't hear you yet. I'm going to move over to the next channel and get set up where they can hear you, and we will have you set up so we can get started. Okay. Okay. Do you want me to entertain people for a little while you work on that? I just realized they are hearing my half of the conversation. Yes, it must be a ghost. Sorry. Let me get over to the just chatting. Let me add the audio. Well, the image you sent me wasn't transparent. I made it transparent for myself for the thumbnail. Wait, no, now it's transparent. Okay. Okay. Say something. Chat, can you hear Silva? I don't. Well, the reactive is lighting up. No word. Okay, let me. Okay, hold on. I know what's wrong. When I updated icon flash, no sound. Okay. When I updated my audio capture thing, it didn't update everything properly. Hold on. Try again.
Hello.
Okay, that should have come through. That should have come through. My OBS showed that there was sound that it picked up. I just don't have any filters on it.
Give me a second. Yeah, I could hear myself on your stream.
Very low, heard but very quiet. Okay. All right. Well, we are gonna. Well, this is okay. In my defense, Silva told me less than 24 hours ago, hey, can you help me with my character on stream? So I did not have a whole lot of time to prepare for this.
In my defense, he set my brain on that tangent, so.
What do you mean on that tangent? I was gonna ask you before anime night, like what you wanted for your character. I figured we could discuss then, and then you're like, hey, can you do it on stream? And I'm like, what? All right, let me. Is there a way I can copy all of these? All right, so what you need is gain, noise gate, noise suppression. Need a limiter. Okay. Oh, I can copy filters. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Copy filters. Paste filters. Okay, now try saying something.
Something.
And then let me turn you up. Say it one more time.
One more time.
Okay, that should have turned you back up. I copied over all the filters that I have on my OBS. That's better? Okay. I just copied over the same filters I have for myself. And you're not hearing like an echo of me, right? You're hearing just Silva. But okay. Let me get everything situated. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but it took me. I'm glad I was able to quickly find a picture of the Savior Gundam for the thumbnail.
You have the right Savior Gundam, right?
Of course. The first Savior Gundam.
It should be the red one, and you know it.
You wanted to be a pilot the Savior Gundam.
Yeah, not the G Savior.
Close enough.
There's a distinct difference here.
Listen, you sprung a collab on me with less than 24 hours notice. I'm teasing you about the G Savior.
Fine, fine.
Okay.
I love how your captions put it as Xavier.
Yeah, the captions aren't great, but it's better than nothing. I don't. The captions, unfortunately, just record my stuff. They don't record what you say.
I am piloting the Professor X Gundam.
You could be a sorcerer and just use, like, say your character is using some form of, like, technopathy or telepathy stuff.
So you want new type BS space magic?
We're using D&D. Like, I don't. It's not even space magic at this point. It's just magic. It's just magic. Okay. Got that situated. Space magic without the space, yes. The closest thing to space here are the flying cities that the mages live on, which are essentially space colonies. They flew into the sky. And society moved on without them. And yeah, like, so there's that old thing that's like, any science you don't understand is just magic. And the thing is, D&D has kind of been on the path to getting to that point with what they call, I think it's called the Vankian or Vancian magic that D&D uses, which is you put in X input and then you get the specific Y output, and every time you put in X, you get Y. So every time you cast this spell with these reactants, you get a specific result. And that's one of the things that's like, it's one of the things that's definitive about the magic in D&D that makes it very simple to gamify, but it also means that, like, for some people, it feels like it takes kind of the wonder or mystery out of magic because it's all, like, understood to a certain degree or something. And I think that's where I like a lot of, like, creativity. That's one of the things I'm looking up is I've been delving back into D&D 5e. I've been looking to see if anyone developed any, like, systems for coming up with custom spells, like rule sets for coming up with custom spells, because there's a rule in GITR for, like, creating a custom spell where it's like it says how long it takes per spell level and how much resources you spend, but it doesn't say, like, what the limitations can be of a custom spell. So I think that's one thing that we're gonna have to figure out. So alrighty. Okay, welcome in, everybody. My week has been hectic. It's kind of flown by. It's funny, I got a notice was posted at the end of last week in the, like, the community, like, post board thing for my apartment complex that said they're going to be working on the water pipes because there was an ongoing issue with the water pipes and the stuff that they'd been working on before, because they'd said, like, last week we're going to be working on it, and for these 2 days there's a chance water is going to be out during business hours. And so I thought it was going to be dealt with, but then they posted a thing at the end of last week where they're like, hey, the stuff is going to take longer than we expected to fix. They're going to have to work on every single building, and for the next month of August there is a chance that at some point you're going to get whatchamacallit, the water is going to be cut off during business hours. And I'm like, oh, well, I better buy some water bottles or fill some water bottles. And I just went grocery shopping yesterday and I bought a big 40 pack of water bottles. And then I woke up today and I didn't even realize it, but I couldn't hear water flowing through the pipes. And normally I can constantly hear water when it's going through the pipes. And so I checked my, I went to use the bathroom and then I went to go wash my hands and no water came out the pipes. Yeah, there are a lot of spells that you can come up with, Nabiru. But I was like, oh, well, that's a problem. So, but I used the water bottles that I'd purchased. I used a bunch of the water bottles to be able to wash my hands. And then I just like threw some stuff in the oven to bake some stuff for food. Actually, let me rearrange where you are on them. Okay, here we go. Moving this there. Then moving me here. Okay. There we go. So we're not being covered by the Twitch chat. But yeah, Kimberly, there are a lot of spells in D&D, and like you see a lot of spells. And one of the things that a lot of people like to do is come up with custom spells or modifying or tweaking spells as they see fit, like a fireball that instead of doing fire does ice or does cold damage or stuff like that. And there's a lot of little tweaks you can make, but as far as coming up with original stuff, that can be pretty interesting. But what Silva told me right before I got Silva on the line talking here, because the entire point of tonight that Silva asked me to dedicate an entire stream to was to help Silva build the character and to explain the world and to explain the setting and to go through the things to build this character. Silva tells me as soon as I hop in voice chat, while I'm still on the starting soon screen, stream has not even started yet. Silva says, I already built my character. And I'm like, what? But Silva hasn't built the mech, so that's what we're going to be focusing on, is the specifics of the mech and what equipment comes with the mech. But here we are. Okay, where am I doing this? How's your report coming? I know you said you were working on some stuff for work.
I'm up to the 13th.
How far do you have to go?
Next Friday, the 16th.
Oh. Oh, so you have to do a report for every day or something?
Yeah, they need some information for said report, and the only way to do it is to update the reports that I normally send like every half hour.
Ah. Yeah, that is the other thing. Silva is at work right now. Don't tell Silva's boss. But let me take a look at your character.
But yes, I'm just feeling like playing Athens Alta out of Gundam Seed.
Uh-huh. Piloting the G Savior.
You know what? Sure, we'll go with that. We'll say his faith mech is called the G Savior. Sure. I mean, and then we can say the G stands for God, and he's trying to save Kira.
Something like that. Something like that. I just looked at your stuff. Did you look at the equipment in the document? Did you look at the document I sent you at all?
Not yet. I have not had a chance.
Okay. Because I see there's some like sci-fi stuff in here that I don't remember being things.
Like what?
You have a blaster and a serrated saber.
Well, the blaster I figured would be just a decent stand-in for a generic gun.
Mm-hmm.
As for the saber, it caught my eye and I forgot to change it out for like a dagger.
Okay. I mean, we can figure out what your starting equipment is in a second.
Well, I was just thinking of what Athens' basic equipment was, as we saw in the first episode of Gundam Seed, which was some type of SMG.
Mm-hmm.
The dagger that he kept in his boot.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he keeps a standard issue like pistol.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my thoughts behind the starting equipment.
Okay, it's not bad.
And for why I am a fighter with the gunslinger subclass.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I was gonna say if you because depending on what the stuff the gunslinger added, you might have considered trying to be a ranger.
I could. I mean, if that was the case, I would ask to pilot the GM's sniper, and then the GM sniper 2, and then I would just be completely unfair about it.
I mean, there's limitations to what you can do, and like you're not gonna have a whole lot of space to explore stuff in a cavern or a dungeon.
True.
Like being a sniper is great until you have to get to the dungeon part of the Dungeons and Dragons. And there are sniper rifles. There are sniper rifles in GITR. Most basic but annoying fun spell, have fun. Aggro spell looks like radio waves to draw enemies to you. If they ignore it, they'll start to fry their system, take damage. Aggro spells are fun. Oh, no else. Huh?
My favorite spell is heat metal.
Noel Main says my week was kind of crazy, but I'm holding on. Bought myself a few cards. Not gonna lie, $12 for a Franzia is still madness, but I'm just glad. Okay. Home multi-star check. Rangers can be cool. Rangers can be really fun. Sniper is great in dungeons. Hide behind things and shoot from a distance. Just have a variety of bullets. There's different ways to deal with that, Nabiru. Well, the reason why I was saying of a ranger was because it's interesting that our other player who's looking to play is Hattie, and she's going to be an Eldritch Knight fighter. Which you can have different types of fighters. Your fighter's going to play very differently. Her character is going to be based on piloting Liger Zero, and looks like it's going to be primarily getting up close, closing the distance, and doing a whole bunch of melee stuff on the enemy with claws and fangs.
So just get up, strike, laser, claw.
Essentially, yeah. Yeah. Gonna be doing the strike, laser, claw, and all that stuff.
Honestly, once you told me that droids were allowed, I came up with the idea to make a triple changer Gundam and try to combine the Berserk Fury with the ZGMF-X23S Savior Gundam.
Mm-hmm. You just said a lot of numbers and letters.
I think you forget I have a lot of the Gundam's designations memorized.
No, I don't forget. You don't let me. But our third player is Okusen, who is looking to play a druid, and it's going to be kind of interesting to see we have some interesting lore kind of planned out for like how druids interact with the world. And just some of the stuff involved with that's going to be kind of interesting.
You know what came to mind for that?
What?
Our Gundam cells.
Not exactly like that. In this setting, the druids. So in GITR, druids are people who like have studied nature to the point that they make their mechs mimic the look and functionality of different things from the natural world, but it's not an exact duplicate like it would be in regular D&D. Like, no one's going to look at a 30-foot tall bear and think it's a regular bear.
You know, being fair, and the Aldicization arc of Sword Art Online, Kirito's sword is literally made of wood. And it can compete with steel.
Mm-hmm. That's also some hardcore protagonist powers.
Kind of. The place he's in, where how it works is everything has a like 3 different values.
Mm-hmm.
And the value for his sword came from something called the Gigas Cedar.
Uh-huh.
And this was just an absolutely massive tree. And his sword is made from the very top of that tree that had been absorbing sunlight for ages.
Uh-huh.
And its durability was so high that the townsfolk had to have an axe specially made just to be able to cut it. It will actually damage regular steel axes.
Why cut it down at that point?
Because they needed the land for farming.
See, okay. That reminds me of that meme where you see like a road splitting around a tree and the caption is because the tree was here first. That is one of the things. If you have one unkillable tree, you just build around the tree. You don't specially custom forge an axe just to cut down one tree.
I wish they could do that, but it also sucks up all the soil nutrients and all the sunlight. When I say this is huge, it is massive. I'll get you a picture later and show you what I mean.
Okay. Noel Main says that they're already enjoying our dynamic. I don't know what dynamic you're talking about. Kimberly says her Wi-Fi has been going off lately. Oh, I hope it gets fixed, Kimberly. Hope it gets fixed. But yeah. But yeah, so that's what we have so far for the playtest. I don't know if we're going to take any more players or what we're going to do. Right now, I'm kind of planning for 3 players. But it's a question of if we can find a date to do this when Silva's available, because Silva has worked a bunch of times. But one way or the other, we're going to work on making a character tonight, work on making the mech, and talking about the system and the specifics of how it works. Everyone watching understands what Noel Main is talking about. Oh no. Have I become part of a comedy duo?
Possibly. I mean, it's what happens when you're friends with someone for a very long time.
Hammy Burger says, I know nothing. I see, Hammy Burger understands. Hammy Burger gets it. Hammy Burger understands. One thing I do ask, if any of you are watching on YouTube I ask that you like the stream. I found that it's really weird. It's weird to ask that, but like, since I've started asking that during the stream and people have started liking as the stream was going, the algorithm has been showing the stream to more people, and we've been getting more people coming in, and the community's been expanding, and there's just been growth all the way around. And I'm like, I guess that's the special sauce. You just gotta ask.
Well, there's a reason why there was a YouTuber who constantly asked for 5 stars, because he really appreciates those 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remember the channel, but I just remember him constantly saying that.
Oh my gosh, back when YouTube had stars. Now we're saying how old we are.
Back in my day, YouTube had stars. Okay, Grandpa, let's get you to bed.
Back in my day, the only Savior Gundam was the G-Savior Gundam. Over 99% of people that have house fires aren't subscribed. Oh no. It's funny, I look at my views of my stuff, and it's like most of my viewers are subscribed to my channel, and I'm like, oh, I remember seeing all those images where people are like, 90% of the people viewing my content aren't subscribed to my channel. And I'm just like, on the one hand, I'm like, okay, that's a really weird thing. Yeah, no correlation. Exactly, Hammy Burger. Exactly, no correlation. And I'm like, okay, I guess that's a thing. Yep, I always appreciate it whenever you all give me the thumbs up. And I know you said you did that earlier, Kimberly. And it's just really funny. How that, like, I see that and I'm like, it's weird because I'm wondering what they're doing. Like, I guess their content's getting spread to so many people that people are just watching their content. But, like, I guess if they're not pulling people in enough to want to subscribe to them, I'm like, what in the world? And it's just weird. But anyway, moving on. My brain got distracted. My brain has been bouncing around. I've been like, my brain has been like speed running another story idea recently, which is really funny.
ADHD go bird.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks to suggested videos, a lot of people don't know they're subscribed. Hello, LeMay. Good to see you. I have a habit of watching at least 30 videos before I subscribe. So all right, Forever. You've got very high standards. You've got very high standards, Forever. That's all that means. I do
something similar.
Just have a notebook. It's like, I've watched one video of yours I liked, 29 more, and you'll get a subscription. Another YouTuber. I've watched 17 videos of yours that I liked, but 3 of which I did not like. So you're at 20 videos, but only 17 count. No, I joke, but I understand, Forever. Some different people have different things that they're looking for in YouTubers. My model is doing weird things. Dupe. Okay. Calibrate position button. Oh, my favorite button. When my model starts doing weird things, one button to fix them all. Okay. Alrighty. And it's funny, we've been watching through Zoid stuff, which is really funny that, like, Hattie wants to do Liger Zero, and we've been watching through so much Zoid stuff.
You know she's built the Liger Zero X, right?
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she posted about it, let's say, like, start of the year.
Oh, the Gunpla Liger Zero X.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. Okay, I thought you meant that she had built her character to be piloting the Liger Zero X. And I was like, how do? Like, I guess shocking grasp?
What I find funny, though, is when she did that, she posted just pictures of the runners, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, anyone gets a sense of what I'm building on, like a Zero X.
Mm-hmm. One of the Empire variants. Which is funny because in lore, the Liger Zero was originally developed by the Empire, but then it was stolen by the Republic, and then the Republic was like, we made this even though we stole it. And then they're like, wait, this is expensive to mass produce. Mistakes were made, then they built their entire military around it.
Well, I mean, you could just build it around a gun sniper with a weasel unit.
So there's one thing that's always bugged me, right? In lore, in the battle story lore, the Liger Zero Panzer is slower than the normal Liger Zero, right? It is slower, but it's still very mobile, right? It's still faster than a lot of smaller Zoids, right? And in the battle story, there's an entire unit of Liger Zero Panzers that just move as a high speed, as a high mobility strike force, right? But when they showed Liger Zero Panzer in the anime, they made it so heavy as to just be completely unusable. And I'm like, that's just... the parts aren't that much bigger than the normal parts. How were they that much heavier? But...
gunpowder?
what?
Well, okay, so the base Liger unit has no artillery weapons other than that shock thing that Bit put on his, right?
And the tail cannon that it never gets used in the anime.
Oh wow, didn't know I had that. Okay, so that makes it, relatively speaking, light as a feather, right?
Well, it still has armor.
Yeah, but I'm saying comparatively.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you threw the D Bison's gun on its back, it'd be heavier.
Yeah, and Bit tried that with the Held-the-Gunner cannon once.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, but it was still able to move.
But then you have the Jaeger unit, which, as far as I'm aware, it has those like wing jet boosters on it, probably giving it a bit of lift while it runs.
No. It's their downforce boosters.
Oh, downforce.
So what the downforce boost? Yeah, better traction. Yes.
Yeah, and then you have the Schneider unit, which is just swords.
Yeah, but all of those things have armor parts that get changed out.
Yeah, but then you have the Panzer unit, which the weaponry isn't exactly beam weaponry, right?
So its cannon is a hybrid cannon. It fires both beam and solid shot.
Okay, so if I recall from my utterly destroyed Panzer unit model, it had a bunch of missile launchers. It had those massive cannons. I can't remember what else it had off the top of my head, but anything physical would have to have some kind of accelerant in it, like gunpowder, right?
Kind of. Like, there's different ways to accelerate things.
I know, but you get what I'm saying.
So you're saying that the weight of the weight of the ammunition is what makes it so much heavier?
Possibly. It's either that or the Liger Zero in the anime never wore the armor enough to become accustomed to it. Or maybe it needs a specialized subroutine. Remember in Gundam Seed when Kira rewrote the
oh my god, let's start with
rewrote the contact density while fighting in the desert to account for the sand?
That is such BS that doesn't actually work.
It's Gundam. It has space magic.
Yeah, but even when they're trying to be science-y, it's still, oh my gosh. I remember I was dating, when I was first explaining Gundam Seed to one of my exes one time, I was like, you gotta understand, Gundam Seed was aiming for like more of a female fan base. They have, their science is less science-y, their characters are much more emotional, there's a lot more character drama, and there's a lot better music and artwork than there are in a lot of the other Gundams that came out around that time. And she was like, I see. And then when I was talking to her about some other mecha show, and she was like, you remember that thing you told me about like about Gundam Seed where like in order to appeal to a more female audience, they made less science-y stuff and made just the characters look cooler and have better music? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, that's kind of where my head is when it comes to a lot of these mech shows. I'm like, okay.
I mean, being fair, it doesn't work. It doesn't work as intended. Like Kia wanted, because the actual result would be add something to the feat.
Yeah, because you can't.
Because we know how the Bakus moved around so much better.
Yeah, because they were built completely differently. Mecha from
exactly.
Go ahead, Noel Main say, oh, hello, Julian. Good to see you. My favorite mecha from Infinity Gear Ignition is Valstar X Interceptor in the Crimson variant with the mortar, not the reboot version. No, not Valstar Seed, not an Ash Red. I don't know anything about that mecha, but that sounds cool. Let me look it up. Infinity Gear Ignition. Valstar X. What's that look like? What? I'm just getting like weird ignition parts and jackets when I look that thing up. Infinity Gear Ignition, Valstar X Interceptor. I'm not getting any mechs when I look that up in images. I'm just getting car parts. I'm not getting any mechs or any anime. I'll look up mecha. Found some Warhammer thing with Grey Knights. I'm doing all right. I had a bit of a hectic week. We've got Silva here guest starring. And we're going to be, I think it's about time for us to get to the actual meat and potatoes of the stream. I'm not saying girls don't like, oh, so you were making it up. Okay. So you were like, oh, it's like where a guy says he likes some kind of a fancy thing, but he completely makes it up to sound cool, but it's not actually a thing. Okay. You had me hyped for a second, Noel, man. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a really cool name. I'm over. I fell for it. I'm gullible. I fell for it. You said giant robot. I said, ooh, let's go. You had me, Noel, man. You had me. You got me. You got me. You got me good, Noel, man. You really did. Had me on the Google and everything. Oh, you were being sarcastic. Okay. But no, I'm not saying that like girls don't like mechs. I'm saying that like that girls don't understand mechs or anything like sexist like that. I was saying it was just funny how like that was how I explained it to her, and then like it's a very sexist concept to say that like women don't like the mechanics or the technical details or things about mechs, but like it's the exact kind of thing that you would expect like a big company to try to enforce when they're trying to enforce gender norms in order to sell products. And it was just really funny how the girl I was dating at the time was like, yes. But yeah, it's exactly like that. Not the reboot version, no. Not Valstar Exceed, not Ash Red. I like this one very specific character. This one very specific character. All right. Anyway, it's 9:30. Let's get over to the writing stream section. See if we can't. I have to import the audio thing for that. Okay. Audio, application capture, Discord. Say something, Silva.
Something.
Okay, that works. Okay, so all right. Okay. So now let me turn on. Let me make you a little bigger. Okay.
You know what you could do?
What's up?
Turn me upside down and put me in the top left corner.
That's kind of where my alerts pop up, but I don't really get very many alerts often. Let me try it. Let me see if I can't rearrange this.
I was just thinking so my hair isn't covering anything.
If we get any alerts, they're just going to pop over your face.
That's fine.
Okay. All right. So now let me properties. Okay. So let's get rolling. So I got the Savior Gundam up so we can look at its specs.
I mean, still wrong one, but okay.
So
I hate the shoulder pads. I hate the skirt on this thing.
Well, this is the space mode, so it's got the boosters.
Bulky.
I think
like the full. The full burner wasn't this bulky.
I think it's interesting because the entire concept of the G Savior movie is that technology kept progressing and warfare kept spreading and stuff kept happening until it got to a point where there was this long extended period of peace, and technology kind of regressed a little bit, or like military technology, because it wasn't in demand anymore. So then it was just things stagnated. Older models started getting used, cheaper models were produced that were less capable, and stuff kind of rolled back. And then the G Savior represents the first step back towards the golden days of old. Some of the mobile suit designs from the G Savior games are pretty interesting. But anyway, that concept just struck me as interesting. Anyway, let me get to... Well, I should probably have the chat set to always on top so I can see what people are saying. Okay. So, this is Athranzala. This is your character you've made, your gunslinger.
Yep. It might make a range if it makes more sense in some form.
Just whatever you want. I just thought it'd be interesting. It's funny, you built a variant human. Let me look and see.
I mean...
Let me see what
is Athen if not a variant?
I just thought it was funny because, like, so, how do I put this? I have been running Lancer for over 2 years, and Lancer is like human only. Everything is just humans. Like, they say, oh, you can body mod and make your character look like whatever you want, but it doesn't have any, like, actual effect. It doesn't give you any actual abilities or actual stuff that makes you any different, right? And it doesn't have, like, a kind of, like, culture or stuff associated with it built in without, like, coming up with that yourself. And one of the things I was interested with, like, coming back to D&D was that, like, players could be whatever race they want, and by using Tasha's Cauldron of Everything with the stat setup, right? That you could make a strong halfling. You could make a dexterous dwarf. You could make a very wise orc, right? And this idea that, like, you could make anything you could imagine while still embracing some of the fantasy stuff. And I wrote, I came up with the stuff for this world with one of the key ideas I came up with the world was maintaining for there to be a reason why there were so many fantasy races. But
I mean, if you feel that strongly about it, I could just make a weasel.
A weasel?
You don't remember? Oh, right, you haven't watched... No, you did watch Build Divers, didn't you?
Oh, where one character had a weasel avatar.
Yeah.
Trying to think how you...
I mean, I'm unironically one of the best characters, too.
Yeah. But it's funny, when Build Divers first came out, one of my friends described it as, like, too good of a commercial for a game that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And then they sunk so much money into trying to make it a reality.
I think they're still working on that.
Yep, they're still working on that. The best they've got is that it can copy your paint job onto a pre-built skeleton. Anyway, so let's jump over to... I'll go over the world again, so I'll just explain more of the world and stuff with you. And we'll go over the basic premise. Story takes place in 1000 AM or after magic in the world of Sage. Wow, I typo. So 1,000 years ago, the mages of this realm, which would be the sorcerers, the wizards, the warlocks, and the bards, and some clerics, and paladins, abandoned society. They said, society as we know it is just using us. They're using us for our power. They're not respecting us. We are tired of being the tools of warfare and destruction and oppression. We are tired of this constant cycle of fighting and destruction. We just want to go off, be on our own, and research magic. So they exited society. They put all of their magical know-how and capability together, and they built flying cities. Those flying cities took off into the sky. But the goddess of the sky, Aria, challenged them for daring to enter her domain so freely. They didn't offer a sacrifice. They didn't send up a prayer. They didn't do a ritual. They just took off. And they turned some anti-divinity weapons on her, defeated her and captured her, and essentially turned her into a battery, into an infinite power source. And they did that to all of the gods. And as the gods were captured, divine magic withered away. And all the arcane spellcasters were gone. And divine magic withered away. So there was no magic in the world. And the world had to learn how to exist without magic. And for a time, people would like plead with the mages and be like, can you please give us some bit? And the mages would come down for supplies every once in a while at first when they were getting set up. And people would say, can you give us some of your healing, some of your magic, some of your magic items? And for a time they were giving out very small magic items or magical healing or magical spell services for exorbitant fees. They were getting a king's ransom for a single cure disease or whatever. Or greater restoration, right? They were getting a king's ransom for it of resources and food. But then eventually they didn't need the people and the people didn't need them. So science moved in. People moved forward. They found coal, they refined oil, and science developed. Then eventually, through a whole bunch of hullabaloo and going back and forth, they discovered the god particles, the particles left behind as the echoes of the god's power in all of creation, and they learned how to manipulate those using spell program devices in order to not only rebuild their own magics, but also create these generators that could cycle and agitate the god particles in the air to create electricity. And those were used to make mechs. And the mech stands for Mechanized Energy Compounding Harnesses. And that led to warfare and spread warfare between the different races and cultures and nations of the surface. And the flying cities watched all of this and realized that if stuff kept going, the mechs would be able to reach them at some point. So in order to keep the mechs from developing too far, in order to keep them from uniting against the cities, against the flying cities sent down the TOMs, techno-organic monstrosities. And these are mechs that are infused with magical flesh, that have become organic entities that are massive and mech scale. And it's been 300 years of the TOMs running rampant. They've started setting up nests and breeding and all different manner of sizes of like monstrosities and oozes and aberrations and fiends. All of these things, the kind of like monsters and stuff you would see in D&D, but mech scale. And mech scale is times 10. Anything that you say, like a medium character at person scale is like up to like 8-10 feet or whatever, right? And a medium mech scale is like 80 to 100 feet tall. So like a 5x5 square at person scale becomes a 50 by 50 square at mech scale. Now, whenever person scale, this is the key caveat here. When person scale stuff interacts with person scale stuff, and when mech scale stuff interacts with mech scale stuff, it is perfectly normal. Stuff happens like regular D&D interactions, right? The only difference is when mech scale stuff interacts with person scale stuff. Whenever a mech makes an attack, when a mech scale target makes an attack at a person scale target, they have disadvantage because they're not designed for aiming for something that's small. And if they hit, their damage is multiplied by 10. But also hit or miss, the target and everything within 5 feet of the target take half damage. So instead of times 10, it would be times 5. And even if they miss the target will still take half damage. Not half damage again. So if they hit, it only does the full damage of times 10. But if they miss, it does the half. Because you're just so massive. The mech scale things have their ranges and their distances and their AoEs multiplied by 10. Something person scale attacking something mech scale has advantage because you're attacking something so big it's just so hard to miss. But if you hit, your damage is divided by 10 to a minimum of 0, which means if you do less than 10 damage, you might as well have not shot at all. Now, there's not going to be a whole lot of times where mech scale stuff's going to be interacting with person scale stuff, but it is a possibility, and that is specifically how the stuff works, which is why you're going to have your mech character sheet and your pilot character sheet. Follow me so far?
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty, so, let's get rolling. Let's take a look at... Why did I open Athrazal's character sheet twice? Alright, so let's look at your pilot gear, right? Let's take a look at the pilot gear. I scrolled too far in the thing. Mecha equipment. There we go, pilot gear. So, the general rule that I said is you have 5,000 credits. So that's the equivalent of 500 gold, essentially. Because we use credits instead of gold, silver, and copper. 1 credit is worth 1 copper piece. So 100. So just to give you an idea of value here, 100 credits is like 1 gold. So you have 55,000. So that's like 50 gold. Sorry, not 500 gold. To spend on weapons, armor, and equipment, right? So that gives you a lot of options for armor and equipment. If you look, I don't know, can you open up in the Discord for the playtest? I put a pinned message with the link to my edit of the rules for GITR. Can you open that up so you can see it?
Yes, once I find where it's under.
It should be under RPG games. Or I could actually, let me see. You find it? Okay.
Yeah, just can't remember for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're looking down at pilot weapons.
Which of the 2 links? The edit, or
one should be the edit, and one should be the World of Sage. So you just want the edit. World of Sage you probably want to read too, because that's like world history stuff.
All right, and right now I am looking for
pilot. You're looking for pilot weapons. It should be on page 34 is where it starts. Finish building your pilot, and then we'll go from your pilot to your mech. Noel Main says your accent reminds them of a childhood friend that they once had.
Ever live down south?
We're not doxing people, but
I don't care if I say where I live, but
anyway, looking at pilot weapons.
All right, so pilot weapons, it would definitely be.
Yeah, so you are, as a fighter, you're trained with martial weapons.
Yep.
So you could. I was thinking maybe like. I know it's a simple gun, but like a handgun because he has a pistol, and we could reflavor the knuckle as just a simple dagger, since he has the thing in his boot.
Yep.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So
let me pull up Athens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just.
Yep, because I can't edit the character sheet. You are the only one who can edit it. So, let me go over the features. Cartridge is kind of like loading, but different. Whereas loading, you fire one shot, then you have to reload it. Cartridge, you have a number of shots, then you have to reload it. So this is cartridge 5, so you can fire 5 shots before it has to be reloaded. You can change out a cartridge for free at the start of your turn, or you can change it out as either a bonus action or a quick action. If you change out a cartridge, you lose any unspent attacks in the cartridge. So, like, let's say it's the start of your turn, and you can shoot twice, but you know there's only one shot in the cartridge, so you might change the cartridge out in order to have enough shots to fire both times with your attack action, but you would lose the one shot that was in the cartridge when you discarded it.
Okay. As far as it goes, I don't think there's anything that's just gun in D&D. Would it be okay to keep the bracer?
I was thinking you could just change, because can't you change the specifics, like edit the thing?
Maybe.
Yeah, you can edit the weapon.
Oh, here we go. So I can override the to hit, the hit bonus, damage bonus, cost override, weight override, and then if it's silver, adamantine.
Okay.
But I can't change. You know what? I have an idea, because what's the range that it says on the...
The pistol is 30-40. Short range, effective range of 30, long range of 120. So it's just like, if it's past 30 feet, you have disadvantage.
Much closest that has that.
This is why originally I was going to say let's use just some generic character sheets, so that way, or like so we can just manually add stuff, or use Roll20, because I'm planning to use Roll20 for the game.
Okay, because I was gonna say D&D Beyond has their new map system.
I have no intention of learning their map system.
Yeah. You said it has a range of 80, 320?
No, it has a range of 30 and 120.
Oh, 30 and 120.
Yes.
Okay, so that's not a short bow either.
No, it's not. One second.
Yeah, I'd have to go into the Homebrew to figure that one out then.
Give me 1 second. Let me test something. Let me try something real quick. Let me see something. Let me boot up Roll20 and see what it looks like, because we're gonna have to add, like, custom weapons are like one of the biggest things. Let me see if I can add custom weapons. Can I add? Can you add? Or okay. Oh, that's how you edit it. Attack and spellcasting. Okay, we are going. Looks like we're going to be trying to do the Roll20 character sheet, because we can level that. We'll just have to manually copy over the stuff, because the Roll20 character sheet, you can just add descriptions and add and change the ranges and change everything manually. So let me get an invite link for that for you. Exit game. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm putting this out there to chat to see if anybody knows this, right? For whatever reason, there is a bug with Roll20 where sometimes randomly it will change the language to Spanish for me. Whenever I'm going through the stuff, like 1 second it'll be English, then it'll just change everything to Spanish, and I have to like manually turn it back. It is the most annoying thing. But as soon as I change, like when I go to like preferences, it says everything. Okay, here we go. Invite players. Copy link. Okay. Pin that. I just put a thing in the Discord with the link to the Roll20 game. I'm going to launch a game and work on. This is going to be annoying because we're going to have to copy everything over, but we can actually like change the weapons. Because I thought in hold on. Let me go to, because I thought in D&D Beyond you could just change the die of the weapons. Customize. To hit override, to hit bonus, damage bonus, cost override, weight override. Wow, that seems really weird that you can change the name, you can change the description, but you can't change the die on Roll20 or the range. I mean, not on Roll20, on D&D Beyond. But Roll20 you can, which is why I'm setting it up. Okay, let me go. Create a folder. Player pilots. Okay. We're gonna edit sheet directly because I don't have the character stuff. Okay. Hello, Tobonius. So I have it set. Oh, I see. Silva's muted. I have my preferred language set to English. It just randomly changes it to Spanish sometimes. And then I go to change it back, and then everything turns back to normal as soon as I get the page to change my preferred language setting. When I go to my account, I go there, and it says preferred language English, and then everything's back in English again. I've had to memorize how to get there because, like, it changes to Spanish, and I have to know which button to press even if I don't know what the word is. It is absolutely ridiculous. How are you doing, Tobonius? All right, let me get this. Oop. You're good? That's great. Oh, that's great to hear. That is great to hear. I'm doing all right. Got Silva here with me. We're working on building a character. We're running a little bit late. We were going to use D&D Beyond, but apparently in D&D Beyond, you can't change the range or the die of weapons. Yeah, we're trying to make a character. In D&D Beyond, you can't change the die or the range of weapons, and like it's limited what you can change on weapons, and like that's a key part of the getting the robot system is the weapon features. So like that's a problem. So since I'm planning to use Roll20 for it, we're just gonna make Roll20. Okay. Alrighty. Yeah. Alright, so class fighter, level. We'll make level 1 first, and then we'll move up from there. Let's point by. Oh, we're using the basic array. All right, so Silva, where did you put your 15?
Dex.
Okay. It's got the 15 in Dex. Where'd you put the 14?
want to say that was con.
Con, okay. 13.
Strength, because I still need to be able to attack something effectively.
Okay. 12.
Probably wisdom. I'm not looking at my sheet right now because I'm doing the usual.
Oh, you're doing work stuff? Okay. I'll look over this. Looks like you got the 12 in intelligence, 10 in charisma, and 8 in wisdom.
Okay.
So, 12. And then 10, and then 8 in wisdom. Okay. It's got the ability scores down. So, in this system, your mech is an amplification of yourself. Your mech's ability scores are based off of your own ability scores, and the mechs have their own weapons and tools, but you can use your class features. Welcome back, Kimberly. You can use your class features and things, and instead of spells, you have spell programs, but you can use them through your mechs as well. And the big thing, Tibonius, in the Get in the Robot system is the 10-fold rule, which is anything you do in your mech is multiplied by 10. Its range, its distance, its AoE, and like all of your distances, your speed. Instead of moving 30 feet, you move 300 feet. And this is represented by when you're on mech scale maps, one square isn't a 5x5 square, it's a 50x50 foot square. But mechs doing damage to each other is just normal. You just do like normal D&D combat. Mechs doing damage to pilot scale targets, the damage is multiplied by 10. And then if a pilot does damage to a mech, the damage is divided by 10 to a minimum of 0. So if you do less than 10 damage as a pilot to a mech, you're not gonna do any damage. You're not gonna get through its armor. But mechs have disadvantage aiming at pilots because they're so small. Pilots have advantage aiming at mechs because they're so big. So you might crit. But it all depends on what you want your character to do. Kinda. Kind of. Which is interesting because so the original thing for Get in the Robot was developed by someone that I don't think has ever played Lancer before. And I'm taking some of those things and tweaking them myself. I'm working on my own modifications to the Homebrew. And I think that's pretty swell. All right, now I'm looking at your character sheet, and it looks like for Atherin, you put a +2 in dexterity and a +1 in constitution.
Yeah. No, it's a +2 in con.
Well, your con, you said you put the 14.
Yeah, hang on. Oh, probably because of the variant human stat boost.
Okay. Oh, right. Variant humans only get +1 to 2 things, and then they get a feat, and then you probably got a feat that buffs something up. Is that what you did?
Yes. Let me take a look here.
Yeah, you did
Yeah, so Dex is 15 because I'm going to be a shooting archetype versus a strength archetype. Con is 14, strength is 13, intelligence is 12, 10 is charisma, and 8 is wisdom. The ability score increase of variant human goes to Dex and Con.
Okay.
And then the feat was Gunner.
Okay.
Because it increases my dex by 1 to a maximum of 20. I gain proficiency with firearms. I ignore the loading property of firearms. And being within 5 feet of a hostile creature will not impose disadvantage.
Okay. So, I want to explain something. Because it's a futuristic setting, everybody has proficiency in firearms. To a certain degree. Like everyone, like, well, not everyone. If you're proficient in simple weapons, you are proficient in some simple firearms. So, and like even wizards, one of the rules with the proficiency is if you have, for instance, instead of saying you're proficient with simple weapons, if it's like you're proficient with only certain weapons, you can choose 2 of the special weapons from the GITR list to be proficient in, and among those are firearms. So everyone has the possibility of being proficient in firearms. Because you're a fighter, you're proficient in martial weapons, so you're proficient in all firearms, so you don't need that. Now, the ignoring loading property, that can be powerful if you were a sniper, and I would allow you to use that for changing out your cartridge for free, for the cartridge weapons. So that could be good. And as for being able to shoot, he said it's like you can shoot without disadvantage or something.
Yeah, if I'm within 5 feet.
Okay. There is a feature that does that kind of natively in GITR. There's a feature called hip, where some weapons can be fired from the hip, like pistols and stuff, and that does that. Now, the pistol for your pilot has hip on it already, but some of your weapons, like your rifles and your cannons, don't have hip. So that could be useful for you. But all right. How do I? That's not the button I want. Here we go. Okay, copy. Put this over to features. Racial. Variant human. That was not the button I wanted. Okay.
And then, I haven't gotten to level 4 for another feat or ASI.
Correct. You've not gotten there yet. So let me do this. You are level. So you got that. You're a fighter, and you said you're variant human.
Yeah, I mean, naturally.
Okay. Got your ability scores. And let's look at your skills. You took acrobatics, athletics, intimidation, perception, and stealth. Athletics. Now, one thing about skills, there are a couple bonus skills. Let me see if I can add skills. There it is. Can I add skills? Okay, well, there are 2 bonus skills that you can have. Actually, I think it's 3. Hold on. That you can choose from. In the GITR system. And that is astrophysics, machinery, and technology. Machinery is kind of like animal handling for like your ability to interact with mechanical things or robots and stuff. Technology is the replacement for Arcana. You can still be proficient in Arcana if you're like someone who studies the history of magic, because in this setting, magic's been gone for 1,000 years, and now it's been replaced with technology. So the only one I thought might be relevant for that would be machinery, because your wisdom machinery check measures your ability to use or repair various mechanical facilities, tools, or vehicles, and understand the build quality and efficiency of various machines. So I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if would that be something that Athrun would have?
Which one in particular?
Machinery.
And let me read it myself. What's it under on?
It's on page 6 of my my edited rules.
Okay, give me a second.
Well, I didn't make the rules; I edited them. But the ones the link I gave you. But it's
page 6. Yeah, there's machinery. You know, yeah, because if you recall, he built Buddy and an army of horrors.
Yes. Okay. So which skill would you like to trade off? Because I believe you can get animal handling. Can I? Oh, that changes it. Can I change the name of it? Do I abilities and attributes? Add. Oh no, that's not what I'm looking for. Okay. But yeah, I'll just put it as animal handling because that's kind of what it's replacing.
Okay.
So what skill would you want to take off for that?
Based on what I have, because we know he's pretty acrobatic. If you recall how we've seen him move in the first episode and a couple others. Let's see, which would tie in with athletics. It's the lowest, so I would honestly say perception.
Okay.
But I know I'm gonna come to be. You know what? Let's get rid of. No, isn't there a feat that lets you choose like 4 different abilities to take?
Skills? Yes, I believe there is a feat for that. So like, I think it's like skilled or something.
Yeah. Okay. Then we'll do perception for now, and I'll pick it back up at level 6.
Okay.
If we get that far.
If we get that far. Right now, we're planning for a one-shot. Skilled, you gain proficiency in any combination of 3 skills or tools of your choice.
Thought so.
All right, so you're getting rid of that. Keeping the intimidation and the stealth. Okay. All right, so that is basic stuff there, and I got the proficiencies. Okay. Oh, there is a place to put custom skills down here in the tool proficiency section. Okay. That's really neat. Okay, then I'm going to put machinery, proficient, and it uses wisdom. Okay. Cool. That's very handy. Oh, wait, no. This is... Oh, weapon. Okay. Simple and martial weapons. Okay. That's not the button I wanted. How do I delete a skill? That's not the button. I just heard a noise.
A good noise or a bad noise?
Thought it was... Sounded like somebody sent me a message or something. Hold on. I don't see anything. But I got any raids? I don't have any like messaging apps open, so I don't know where that came from. Okay, so machinery, wisdom. Okay. Anyway, armor, all weapons, all armor and shields. Okay, light, medium, heavy armor, and shields. Okay. All right. Boop, boop. And then playing card set, Tinker's Tools. Tinker's Tools is good for him. Vehicles and land. Okay. Language. Language common and Elven. Land vehicles. Playing card set and Tinker's Tools.
Yeah, I couldn't really think of anything in D&D Beyond that Athen would take.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, the cards would be something to make horrors instead.
Well, I think Proficiency Tinker's Tools covers that.
Yeah. Or birdies.
Yeah, I think Proficiency Tinker's Tools covers that. Okay, so we've got light, medium, heavy armor. And shields, that got his proficiencies. Got the feet. Got the skills, got the languages. Ability score increase. Now just got to get the features you picked. He's got superior technique. Oh, you got a fighting style. For ooh, you got a bonus. Okay.
Yeah, I I figured having like a because if I'm not mistaken, that gives me a battle master die.
Yes, it gives you a battle master die, and it gives you a single battle master.
Yeah, considering he was a Zaft Red, I figured that might be a good option.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely.
Well, Zaft Red and member of Faith, so.
Yep. And fighting style. This is technique. And then fighting style, and then he gets copy. Okay, and so we'll did you pick a fight battle master technique?
I think I did.
Okay. Oh well. Okay. Got second wind. Once per short rest. Oh. Copy. Level HP, okay. Second wind. Action surge. Class. And martial archetype gunslinger.
Correct.
Yep. Okay. Which gives you copy. Gunslinger. Did I copy the wrong stuff? Oh. I want... There we go. Okay. Copy. Okay. Boop. And that gives you Adept Marksman. There we go. And you can make your ammo for half cost. Nice.
Nice.
I find it... Okay, I gotta say something, though.
Mm-hmm.
So, your grit is what you use for your abilities as a gunslinger. It's like the resource you spend for your abilities, if I remember that, if I understand that properly, right?
Uh-huh.
Your grit is equal to your wisdom modifier to a minimum of 1. You have a wisdom modifier of -1, so you've got 1 point.
Swap wisdom and strength.
Wisdom and strength? Okay.
Yeah, I can sacrifice strength.
Okay.
Actually, swap con and wisdom.
Okay.
And
You're just be really squishy? Oh, so okay, so you're putting the 13 in con.
Yeah.
The 14 in wisdom. And then the 8 in strength. So you're just all right. Alrighty.
Yeah, that might do something.
Yeah. That means that you'll have 2 grit points that doubles your ability to use your effects. Be
At least until I can, boost it.
yeah.
Oh, and then I'll need to put my... We could probably move the +1 to con to wisdom.
Okay.
Actually, no, that won't do anything, would it?
Your +1. No, it wouldn't, because your wisdom has already been moved up to being 14. I don't know why it says your con is 15 if you put the 14 there. Unless that's very bizarre, because you put the 14 there. Oh, you put the +1 there. That's where. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I understand that. Okay. It says 15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 8, and the last +1. Where do you want the last +1 to go? You could put the last +1 on con in order to give you back the 14 HP.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. And got Adept Marksman. And then your trick shots. Oop. And we'll just copy these. And then so I'll just do these separately. Copy violent shot. Then we get piercing shot. Okay. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, so we've got all of your skills. We've got your features. Now, I said max HP for the first 3 levels. So your hit die is D10 because you're a fighter. All right, so that is going to be D10 plus 2, 12, so you have 36 HP. Decent hit points. Now let's just grab your pilot equipment, and then we will get to your mech character sheet, which will go really quickly. Mech character sheet will go really quickly. So item. Oh no, that's not what I want.
I will need a moment. I'm just doing my thing.
Okay, no problem.
And then you got me the rest of the night.
Okay. Pistol. Looking here. The Roll20 character sheet is very handy. Handgun. Handgun. I did ways. But also for anyone who wants to get this this homebrew, this was developed by V over at Husbando Homebrews, who's a part of the YouTube channel. My wife is the MC. I have links to their stuff in the description below on YouTube. So you can go there and find out more stuff. Yes, free the Silva. Yes, multi-star chick. We have to free the Silva. All right, so handgun, and then we'll just say dagger. Handgun, 3 pounds. Oh. That's how you... Oh, my gosh, that's so helpful. All right, so we got handgun. Then we got... Say dagger with 1 pound. £1. Okay. And you can start with oh yeah, I gotta get ammo for the handgun. Probably get like 5 cartridges of that.
I know it probably wouldn't exist in Gundam, but you want to know what gun I would want?
What would you want?
A P90.
So that I would represent with a rifle. There is a rifle. There is a default rifle that is a simple weapon. It's got 3 shots before it has to reload. What would you say? Forever, finally home and settled for the night. I felt early, in the day and hurt my hand, so now I'm temporarily disabled. Can't move with the... Oh, I'm sorry, Forever. No, I hope you can get back to crocheting. I know that that's something you said you really enjoy doing. But yeah, so you can get a rifle. It still does a D6 piercing. Like the handgun does, but it's heavier. Instead of having 5 shots per cartridge, it has 3 shots and it has a vastly increased range. It's got range of 80 and 320, and it has the kinetic feature, which the handgun has as well. Kinetic means that if you hit a target, since this is kinetic line 10, you can, within 10 feet after your target, you can hit up to 2 targets in a line behind your target for half damage, as long as their AC is equal to or less than your original target.
Okay.
So that's how kinetic works. That's one of the. There's a bunch of different. That's one of the things this homebrew adds is a lot of weapon features, and one of them is kinetic, where a lot of the piercing weapons can do that. The handgun has piercing as well, but the handgun piercing only hits 1 target within 5 feet to line 5. So just if someone's directly behind your target, rifle can hit up to 2 targets with 10 feet. So
okay,
and it's versatile. If you 2-hand the rifle, instead of doing a D6, it'll do a D8. So that's a possibility if you wanna do a rifle.
Handgun for now.
Handgun for now. Okay. All right. So we got handgun, 250 credits. Knife, 200 credits. Then got to do your armor. Synthetic fiber. All right, so you're proficient in all kinds of armor, but you dump strength. So you probably want to start with medium because the heavy armor has the strength requirements. Let me do. Look at the different armors here to look at if any of them had strength requirements. It's been so long. I used to have all this memorized. Strength. Oh, there's no strength requirement. So, because you're starting with so many credits to use for buying stuff, you could buy some half plate.
Okay.
That's going to cost you... Half plate's going to cost... Oh, wait, never mind. Sorry. I didn't do the math. That's expensive. Never mind. That is more than you have.
Math? When does that come into play in D&D?
So the best you can get is the scale mail.
Okay, that's fine.
Which
not like those pilot suits do anything.
hey, it's still 14. Still 14 plus dex.
Or rusty.
Or rusty. Okay. So gonna get.
I haven't even got to see his face.
Of course not, because he was voiced by Gact, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Alright, so
But there was another character voiced by Gact who we got to see. And even got 2 full episodes before he kicked the bucket.
Alright, so this is composite. It's called composite weave armor. Armor. 500 credits. Now let's do. Which weighs. It doesn't put the weight on here. That's a problem. That's one thing I'm going to edit whenever I fine tune this. Going to put the weight on there. Because that's important. Let me see. If it weighs the same amount as this, it's going to weigh 45 pounds. Okay. That's heavy.
Oof.
Alrighty. And that's going to be armor class. That is going to be 16 armor. Because it has a max dex of 2. Which is scale mail. Scale mail. Okay. Alrighty, so that is your gun, your survival knife, your dagger. Let me put these in here. D4 plus dex. Light finesse. What does this one have? Yeah. P 90 rifle dex range on the rifle is 8320. One D6 plus dex. And then copy. And then pistol. And the range on the pistol, 30, 120. $1d6. Do a lot of piercing damage. Okay. Then grab. Copy. Okay, and piercing. Okay, there we go. Piercing. So we've got the base weapons. Your weight limit is. We've got plenty of weight limit. We're not doing encumbrance. We're just doing standard weight limit, which is 15 times your strength, at least for the pilot. Carrying capacity is determined by the legs in the mech, so we'll deal with that later. You have 8 strength, so that is 8 times 5 is 40. 120 pounds is what is your max. You're up to 49 pounds. Oh yeah, rifle. P90 rifle, which weighs 5 pounds. Okay. Okay. Alrighty, so we've got the base stuff here. And then we'll say you've just got some and we'll record everything that you have left in copper, because that is what 1 copper is equal to 1 credit. So we'll just record everything that you have left in credits, and then you can get the more specific stuff later. Handgun, knife. So that's, you've spent 450 plus 950. So you have 40, 50. You have 40, 50 credits left. So you have plenty of credits left to buy whatever. Oh, except I need to turn off weight of core die roll proficiency level by I could have swore there was a way to turn off encumbrance. Whatever. Not dealing with that. Okay.
There is, I think it's Control tilde on my keyboard, type in God mode, and press enter.
Ha ha ha. All right, so now that we've got this basic thing built, we are going, because I don't feel like copying over all of your features, I'm going to add folder, player mechs. Okay. Save your Gundam. Okay. So, let's get you situated. I copied over all your stuff. We are going to... and... All right. Now let's build the Savior Gundam. So, you have 5,000 credits to use for building the Savior Gundam. Now we're going to start with the body parts. Also, you get some weapons for free for leveling up, for building your character. You do get some weapons for free, so we'll focus on weapons in a second. The big question that's going to be asked is, if you go down to chapter 4.5, parts and assembly, we are using that to build your mech. So with these, with the parts, if some parts are tied to specific ability scores, and some parts just give different like traits and features, right? If a part is tied to an ability score, it'll say, for instance, strength 13, 17, right? That means in order to properly use the part, you need to have at least a strength of 13. But the maximum force you can generate from the part is strength 17. This is based on your stats. So you will determine essentially what becomes the max stat for your mech, and if you want to upgrade, you're going to have to get the next upgraded part. So, okay. So let's start with the arm parts, which you want dex. You have a high dex of, well, you probably don't need all 17 because you only really need 6. Well, actually 17. Yeah, if you want to get the 16, you need the 17 part. So you could get it from the Marksman Mark 1. It's a relatively cheap one. You won't be using your strength for anything, and if you use, because you only have strength 8 and you don't meet the strength 9 requirement, if you make any strength checks, you will make them with disadvantage. If you use strength for anything, it'll be with disadvantage with the marksman arm. But I believe that the lowest is 9. So do you want to just grab the marksman 1 arm?
Sure.
Okay. Let me... So, marksman Mark 1 arm. Okay. Oh, you can set... Oh my gosh, that is so handy. I didn't have to make the thing twice. That's funny. Okay, that's actually really funny. Okay. Okay. Marksman Mark 1 arm. Weight 10. Strength 9. 13. Dex 13, 17. Okay. Okay. Mark 1 arm. Check. Moving on. That is 800 credits. You're going to want the standard cockpit, which doesn't give you any bonuses, doesn't give you any penalties. It just weighs 5 tons and it costs 500 credits. You just need it to operate. It's a standard cockpit.
Okay.
There's some really neat stuff if you look at some of the cockpits. You can get like a mobile trace system or a neural trace. Or you can get the pipe organ cockpit that Lelouch used. There's some really interesting stuff you can get in here. Now this will be where things get interesting. Actually, I'm not sure if it'll get that interesting now that I'm looking at this. Is the computer system that determines your mental scores. Your highest mental score is a 14 in wisdom. So you're going to need the 15-part wisdom.
Is there a zero system?
We could come up with a zero system. Let's see what we got here. Sensor array, 17. 15, 15. Here you go. For yours, you're going to want the computation internals Mark 1, which actually you could do. Is there anything cheaper? No, huh? That's the cheapest option. No, you're going to build for wisdom before anything else. So I guess, Sensor Array Mark 1 gives you room to increase wisdom. So you can increase your wisdom to 16 without needing to upgrade your computer system.
Okay. Sounds good.
So your wisdom, it doesn't buff your wisdom, but that just means that that's one less upgrade you have to worry about in the future. All right, sensor and computers have no weight. Well, not any appreciable weight. So Sensor Array Mark 1. $800 CR. All right, Sensor Array Mark 1, and then I'll just put that here. And then rolling on down. Generator. So there is a resource called EP, which is your energy points that you use for like boosting, and it can be used to overcharge beam weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Your generator determines how much EP you have as your max and how much you generate per turn. Now, this is going to be modified by another thing that I added, which is the body part, that where the heavier the body part, the less EP you generate per turn. So you can, if you look here at the generator section, the stock generator, 10 EP, 2 EP regen, 100 credits. Mass production one jumps up 1,000 credits, but it's 15 EP and 3 EP regen.
Okay.
So let me look at where your total is, because you still have to get legs. You still have to get a head, legs, and body. So you are up to. I might have to add more money now that I'm actually looking at the cost here. You're at 2,100 CR of the 5,000 that you would normally spend. If you just want to get mass production legs, that's only going to be 500. Stock head part is probably all you're going to be able to afford. That's 150. And body part is like, you can get, you're 14, so you're probably going to want either the middleweight or the heavy body, which will be either 650 or 1,000. So you probably want the 650 one. So you have some space.
Okay.
Use all one big blast and wonder what happened. Yeah, that could be a thing, Nabiru. So why don't we start you with the stock generator and see if you have any money left over after buying your parts. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
100 CR. Weighs 75 tons. Okay. All you can afford is the civilian standard helm.
For now, anyway.
Yeah, you'll definitely upgrade. Actually, after we assemble this, I have to go back because I think I said you all start with bonus credits. So you could spend some of those credits to get additional stuff.
Okay. I mean, whatever works and fits a transformable mobile suit.
Yeah, we're gonna see how we make that happen. I'm a little bit. I have some thoughts. It's probably not gonna transform right away because I was gonna say what would probably be a thing would be if you chose something like a flying thing that would give you a fly speed, because the legs that give a fly speed are really expensive because fly is very powerful.
Yeah.
Let me see. Flying 5e. Broom of flying. Winged boots. Let's see. What rarity is this? It's uncommon. Like a mundane broom, it's used to Friday has a flying speed of 50 feet and can carry up to 500 pounds. When carrying over 200 pounds, the broom stops hovering when you land. I would say you could use some of your gold to buy a broom of flying, which is then you when you get on it, you speak the command word would be you transforming. How does that sound?
Okay.
And 5e, hold on. How much does that normally cost? Uncommon 300. I would say you're starting with 250. I could say you could have your starting bonus gold of essentially 250 gold go towards that broom of flying. So then you have stock stuff and you can fly. How's that sound?
I mean, it works for me. Okay. Whatever we need to do to make it work at the moment.
Okay. All right. Okay. Room of flying. Using starting gold. That seems to be the cheapest one. Okay. So we got the stock generator. $100 credits. Civilian standard helm is 6 tons. Okay, and then leg parts. How much gold do you have left? Because you have to do leg and body. Body, you kind of want the middleweight body just for the extra EP regen. Let's do some quick maths. $23.50. Oh, okay. That works out, because then you get mass production legs, 500, body, 1000 CR. $38.50 CR. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you have, and fold the rest of that into Oh, yeah, no, that's plenty. All right, so then you get the mass production legs, which gives you a really high carry capacity, and the middleweight body, which means you have it's more expensive, but you don't have any EP regen penalty. And it's lighter than the heavyweight body Mark 1.
Okay.
Since that's going to be a thing. So let's do middleweight body, 165 tons. And then mass production legs, which give set equivalent of 30 feet movement and 950 tons of carrying capacity. So it's the second highest carrying capacity that you can get. And that is weighs 20 tons. And mass production legs 20. Okay. You've of that 950 tons, you've only used 281 tons worth just to build this body. So you've got plenty of weight. We still have to do your armor and weapons now that we've actually built your body, but that gets all of your stats as is. And all of that. Now, let's grab your armor and weapons. Now you can start with, as a fighter, you start with normally a chain shirt, I believe. Starting armor with, yeah, you normally start with a chain shirt, which would be equivalent of Cruiser Steel Mark 1. So that's what you start with, which is 13 plus Dex. So this is AC of 15. Ba, 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 ba. $20 tons. Okay. And then down to weapons. So you have high dex. So you're going to want finesse weapons.
Yes, or, you know, good range weapons.
So I'm going to say, what does fighter normally start with? Fighter starting equipment. Here we go. All right, so you can start with the ranged weapon and 2 martial weapons. So 1 martial ranged weapon and then 2 of any martial weapons. Okay. So we are using the expanded mecha weapon list. So you have the mecha weapons, and then you have the different types of weapons that do different things and cause different status effects and do different types of damage. Have you had a chance to take a look at any of the charts of the mecha weapons or any of the effects?
Not yet. What page are they on?
So the base mecha weapons start on page 19, and then it's those are the base and the beam. Those are the physical and the beam weapons on those charts, and then on the following charts are the ones that do different types of damage.
All right, definitely need a beam saber.
With your stock generator, you have 10 EP at your max for the stock one, I believe. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, and then the savior has 2 high output cannons.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 beam rifle.
Mm-hmm.
And a shield.
And a shield. Okay. All right, so let's grab the shield. So we'll say, all right, let's grab the shield first. So we'll grab that with the armor. And we're going to upgrade your stock generator to a mass production generator because you have the funds left for it. And that's going to increase your EP because I'll explain how EP works in a second. There we go. Mass production generator. 15 EP, 3 EP regen. Okay. Generator. Mass production generator, 80 tons instead of 75. Okay. Ba 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 ba. $15 EP. Okay. Okay, gonna track the 15 EP. Cool.
Okay.
So that's what you have. So how beam weapons work? All the beam weapons have a beam, and then it'll say a number. Beam weapons don't use ammunition, by the way. So you have unlimited ammunition with beam weapons. Beam weapons, it'll, like, for instance, the beam dagger, it says 3 EP. That means in order to use it, you have to have at least 3 EP. Now, it doesn't spend the 3 EP to use it, but you need to have at least that much. And what you can do is you can, as a bonus action, you can spend that EP in order to overcharge it, and then the next time you hit with that weapon, you do an extra die of damage. But you still have to have enough EP after overcharging it to be able to use it.
Okay.
So let's get you set up with a shield, which weighs 6 tons. You get a shield, which gives you 2 armor. Okay. Okay. What? This is... Let me check something here. Mass production legs say max weight is 950. Why is this saying that it weighs this should not... I think this thing's math is off. This does not add up to over 1,000. Oh, that's why. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on. But I listed as having 15 of the mass-produced generator. I'm like, no, there's only 1. There we go. Okay. I was about to freak out like, hold on. Is this system broken?
Yes, it's very broken.
Okay. So you said you want So you, a beam saber?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just going by the armaments I remember being on the cave here. So.
Okay.
Which, like I said, beam rifle, 2 beam sabers, technically.
Okay. I'm going to say, since you're getting the shield as one of the things replaces one of your weapons, so I'd say you can get 1 melee and 1 ranged weapon. So let's look at what you'd use for your beam saber. And you can use a beam rapier, because that's a finesse weapon, which will use your dex, and it'll do a d8 radiant damage. One thing is it'll just do half damage underwater if you do go underwater. And it's got 5 EP, which means you can charge it and still use it because your generator is large enough.
I mean, if you recall, they couldn't use beam weaponry underwater anyway.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll grab the beam rapier. Okay. Which weighs beam rapier 2 tons. Let me try this. Okay. I don't have that click this as a resource anymore. That's weird. Okay, so has an attack. Beam rapier, let's modify this. It uses dex, melee, 50 foot, 1d8 plus dex, radiant, and it has beam 5 EP plus finesse. Okay. Make sure that works. There we go. Cool. So there's the beam rapier, you got the shield, and you want to, what type of, do you want to, since you have a beam melee weapon, do you still want to use a beam ranged weapon, or do you want to get a solid or one of the other things? Because if you look, there are different damage types that have different things, like acid that does corroded damage, negated that, necrotic that negates stuff, disruptor weapons that do lightning damage, freeze weapons, overheat weapons, supersonic weapons. I know you're trying to replicate the Savior, but which would just be probably a beam rifle.
Yeah, it's a, like I said, it's a beam rifle. It is a, it's 2 beam sabers because of how it is stored in the shoulders, and then 2 mounted beam cannons on the back, kind of like the Buster. So we could probably replace the beam rifle with a shell. Kind of like the disruptor, like you said.
Oh, actually, I wanted to mention something. There is rules for mounting weapons on your shoulders. So we could yes, we could use that. Certain weapons can be mounted on the shoulders. And it ignores the two-handed property of the weapon. It ignores two-handed and versatile on the weapon. Is treated as being wielded in one hand. And The one thing with shoulder weapons is they cause, it'll say shoulder and then it'll have a distance number like 50, 100, 150. And if you fire it and you have less than that much movement speed left, you have disadvantage. And then once you're done shooting, it decreases your remaining movement by that value because it's just like that's the force of the blast.
Okay. But it's nothing that we could turn into like the Buster's combining cannons.
Not really. Because the combined cannons thing was that it hits really hard, right?
Yes and no. Because the issue there was that the Arca did not use the Buster Gundam like the Buster Gundam was intended to be used. The Buster Gundam was always intended to be a long-range Gundam that stood by stayed close to the Archangel, while the Strike could fill all three roles. The Aegis was to be close range, and the Duel and the Britches was supposed to be mid to long range. Oh no, mid to close range. So the Buster was designed with the beam sniper, which is when the rifle's in the front end, and then it was supposed to be God, I can't think of it. And then the other was a shotgun of sorts.
Okay.
But if you recall, the Arca was always up there in the front, sinking ships, taking names.
Yeah, that was always the Arca.
Which admittedly was kind of cool, but...
Yeah, that was kind of his thing. So, how do you want to play it? What do you want it to be?
I'll just play it as the standard. Who's a Majiggy?
Okay.
Standard who's what's it?
Okay. So I'm thinking we kind of condense things because you only have so many things to start with, right? So starting with the sword, the beam rapier and the shield picks up one of your starting sets. And then I just read, and you're supposed to start, if you choose to start with a ranged weapon like a cannon or a longbow, you're supposed to start with leather armor. So that actually slightly decreases what you start with, but at least defensively. But I was thinking you could do, since you're going to have just having a cannon mounted on your shoulder, so that way you won't have to deal with changing weapons mid-fight. You can just fire your cannon for ranged weapons, for ranged attacks. How does that sound for you?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Do you want to do for a beam weapon, want to do a beam cannon? You're not
for the shoulder mounted.
Yeah,
because that's what it is.
Okay,
I mean,
you're not gonna have
the. Do you remember the Strike's 320 millimeter Agni launcher gun from the launch pack? It's basically that.
Okay,
that's on the back of the Savior.
Okay. Okay, you got the shoulder beam cannon. Which way? The one thing is you're not going to have enough EP to be able to charge it, to overcharge it and fire it. Because you're only going to have 15 EP and it's going to take 10 to overcharge it, and then you're going to have another 10 in the tank in order to fire. So you'll have to upgrade your generator before you can overcharge it.
Yeah.
Which will just give you something to build into in the future. Okay. 23 tons. Has an attack. Okay. That was not the button I wanted. Okay. Uses Dex. Range on this is... And you don't have to worry about ammo. 600 feet by 2,400 feet. Alright, and 1d10 plus Dex. Radiant damage. And then grabbing the description of the beam cannon. Okay. Alrighty. Why is it rolling with advantage? It should not be rolling with advantage. Okay. All right. And now there's just, if you want to grab some miscellaneous equipment, you don't need ammo because both your weapons are beam weapons.
I can't think of anything miscellaneous to take other than bits, if that exists, but
no, that would be something. That would be something else. But let me see here. So the things it lists are you can get like cable for like dragging things. Oh, you can get collection rods for like making a little hammock to carry stuff.
okay.
You could grab some e-packs so that way you could, if you use a lot of the EP actions, you could use them to really quickly recharge EP.
You know what? Let's do that because yeah, I do want to do that, but I couldn't,
couldn't justify it. It'd be something.
Well, no, I can justify it. It's just I can be like, okay, I overcharge, recharge, fire in the same turn.
Right. You can't do that. You can't do that with your beam cannon, no. But your like I said, because it would take both. It would take 2 bonus actions, and you only have the 1. But EPAC means if you use, for instance, if you use the dodge bonus action, where it's not the actual dodge action, but it's an EP thing where and it's not a bonus action. It's an EP action where in response to being hit, you spend a bunch of EP, increasing your armor class by 2, which could make the attack miss. So it's a mini shield, and then you can. I think it lets you boost away when you do that. Want to get some floodlights so you have some lights because you don't have dark vision.
Yes.
Okay, so let's get some floodlights. And nano repairs are essentially potions.
Say again?
You have you can get what's called nano repair. They're essentially potions. Actually, I'll just leave the specifics of like all that stuff. You have 5,000 credit that you can spend on miscellaneous stuff for your mech, but of that 5,000 credit, if any of that 5,000 credit you don't spend, you don't get to keep. That's just lost. So you can get like e-packs, nano repair, shovels. They have these like, they call them, I don't know why he calls them trucks. I don't know if that's, I guess it's like a trolley or like a little thing you drag that essentially is like the mech equivalent of a backpack for storing things you can get. But those are expensive. But yeah, I think that came together really well.
It did.
It took a while. It took a while, especially because we had to we were fighting with
everything.
Yeah. Especially because we were fighting with D&D Beyond, and then I just had to figure out where stuff was. But once we got rolling, I think it came together pretty well.
I agree. Got everything I wanted out of it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Sounds like everything's gonna come together.
Yep, and I just have to get everything
right now. Over me.
Oh my gosh. But if you want to change out any of your weapons, if you want to read through some of the status effects that the weapons cause, some things may not be exactly directly related to how you envision the character, the mech working in the anime, but there might be things that you think that'd be really cool to do. But that could be a thing that you tinker with. You have a beam cannon, which has your main ranged weapon on your mech is a beam cannon, which has shoulder 100, so you have to have at least 100 feet left to in order to fire normally. But yeah, you get to do all the things.
Yay!
So,
exactly what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you're just going to be like doing gunslinger tricks with your cannon in the background, using your broom of your I have to record the broom of flying. That's another thing. So I'll call it transformation system, and it'll just be the broom of flying. Bob. Oh. Broom of flying. And you can carry a bunch of weight, so you can lift stuff, which is funny. It's really funny that you have a low strength score, but your mech is so light that you can carry lots of stuff. So if you have to pick stuff up in the field, you can. But yeah, you've got your beam rapier for up close. You've got your shield. You've got your actually, let me check something real quick. I want to see mecha shield. AC. Oh, you can put descriptions on things. You can put descriptions on items here, so you can just click on the item. It doesn't show, but you can just click the information and it pops out. Okay. Okay. All right. That was a long one. Built a whole character.
Well, built a whole mech.
Yeah. We built the whole mech. The mech came together pretty well. It was just trying to match it to your skill set. That was the main thing about trying to match it to your skill set. The one thing is, if you do strength stuff, because you only have strength 8 instead of strength 9, you're going to have a disadvantage. just because you don't have the strength skill to fully get the most out of the arms. So you might want to do something about those noodle arms at some point. But yeah. Alrighty. I think I'm going to switch back over. Did you have any other thoughts?
Not at this point.
Okay. Alrighty. Whoop. Chat, say anything? Chat's been real quiet. Chat has been real quiet. I know. Yeah. I know we've been doing a bunch of building.
I don't think chat likes us.
Oh, shame. Hold on, let me go. Why is my model right there? Okay, there we go. Okay, let me see something. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Whoa. We had a bunch of people come through. There's not a lot of people watching right now, but there was at one point we had like 12 people in here, which is interesting.
Oh wow.
But I just checked the stats, which I do from time to time. But if anyone wanted a demonstration of how building a character in Roll20 works, that's how you build a character in Roll20. That's how you build a D&D character without using the Character Mancer. Because in order to use the Character Mancer, you have to own the stuff in Roll20, and you can just copy and paste stuff over. I think that's one of the things I like about Roll20 is that, like, you can just copy and paste stuff in. I used to use that all the time. Like, Roll20 used to be my main thing for building Mutants and Masterminds characters because it was so simple. The character sheets were just really, really simple. You just added stuff as you needed it, and it was just really, really straightforward. Now, I guess my one question, right? We've built the character sheet. We've built the character weapons. What's your character's backstory?
I mean, it's literally just Athen from Gundam. I mean, if I have to repeat his backstory, basically, as a kid, he witnessed the destruction of the colony Junius 7.
Okay, there's not space colonies in this.
I know. We'll figure out how to frame it for your world. At some point.
Okay.
But yeah, that's basically what happened to him. And it was at that point, he decided that he would join Zaft and go into the service in order to fight the Naturals. And that was basically his backstory. As for in your world, I haven't really thought of it yet.
Okay. I was thinking we could do a thing where he comes from some like human clan that like has built advanced technology for like advanced genetic research, right? And that's why he's a variant human, is because he's been genetically enhanced, and there's some kind of a conflict between him and the other ones, the non-genetically enhanced peoples. So we could lift it, just essentially take out the space colonies.
Yeah.
Or
I mean, you could flavor it as a cluster of not space colonies, but some kind of colonies.
Yeah, could do some kind of colonies. So there is another thing, right? That I don't know how you feel about. But could be interesting. I do have, so the closest thing to space colonies in my world are the flying cities that all the mages moved to, right? They moved to with their families and everyone they loved. They took and they left 1,000 years ago, and they've been having a thriving city flying in space, right? And they are afraid that everyone on the surface is going to attack them and try to take their magic and do all kinds of stuff to them. But not every one of them agrees with the actions of the flying cities. And I had in the lore of my world that there are some people who have snuck down to the surface from the flying cities in order to like try to help out. I was thinking that's the base lore, but it could be something where maybe your character is secretly, like you have some kind of a backstory, right? But like you're secretly sent from the flying cities to like do some undercover work. Like you're one of the people that doesn't have magic, so you can blend in, right? Because not everybody's kid or nephew or like through generations, not everyone's going to be skilled at magic, right? So maybe maybe this version of Atherin is from the colonies, the flying cities, and is down here on an investigation mission to find some weapon that they think that the surface is building in order to shoot down the flying cities or something.
Sounds good. Sounds like fun.
And then like over time you like grow, you learn, you realize that the surface isn't actually after the flying cities, and it can be kind of a fish out of water thing where like there can be times where like you don't get certain things. Like certain things just don't click for you because you grew up in a completely different culture, you know?
Okay, I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm putting this in my notes. All right. Flying City. Okay. Grew up in this flying city, was sent to the surface. A fish out of water because he grew up in a different culture. Yeah, so it could be interesting because like then like your character is trying to like not give away that he's from the flying cities because he thinks as soon as anyone finds out he's from the flying cities, people are going to lynch him, right?
Right.
But he's trying to blend in with what he thinks the naturals or the surface dwellers live like. It's the seed high school AU we all wanted.
It's Gundam Seed, but better.
Oh, that's a heavy claim. That's a heavy claim.
I'm just saying that because of all the Speed haters out there.
All right. So I just put that in my notes. Good. I gotta talk to Hattie and see where her head is. I know she's building an Eldritch Knight and doing the whole fighter stuff. And it seems like she's gonna be doing more close range stuff. You're gonna be doing more ranged combat stuff. Okusen had mentioned doing a druid, which we're working on some interesting stuff for the druids. So, for the druids in this setting, right? We're taking this different direction, where, even though the divine magic withered away when the gods were captured, right? Some druids and clerics tried to keep their traditions alive, performing the rituals even though there was no more magic, there was no more results. They still perform the rituals as part of their culture or history. Not every faith survived the 1,000 years since the magic left, right? But some druid circles and some religious circles have groups have survived in that meantime, right? Because this is a world that used to have gods that walked among them and granted magical power, but now those gods are gone. Those gods have been captured by the mages. But where it gets interesting is that in this world of Sage, when the internet happened and people could share information across vast distances, and they could store information and archive information for future generations, the druids were the ones who became some of the earliest adopters of the internet. And they very quickly learned about the internet and learned about recording and archiving recordings of their rituals for future preservation in order to be able to have a record that they could pass on to future generations. And
I don't know why, but what came to mind with that is, isn't this more or less the Adeptus Mechanicus from 40K?
Not quite, no. But so, and then whenever when the spell programs were invented and the spell program devices were invented, right? I just realized the spell program device makes SPD. That's funny. Yeah. The
SPD emergency.
Yes. The druids jumped at the chance to use the spell program devices and adapt their traditions to spell programs. And the druid circles, instead of being druid circles, are now forums where druids interact and commune with each other, keeping the old ways alive in new ways. So Okusen was talking about playing this person who's like, they're druid, but their druid circle that they commune with, that they interact with, is through forum and through their cell phone, right? And that's like part of their spellcasting device.
So, Genta from Gamai Sentai Shinkenji.
Something like that.
Well, yeah, all of his, he learned to use the emoji coder through use of his cell phone, which he created.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the same as all of the other characters in Shinkenji. The 5 mains are more traditional, and his is new age, newfangled things. Which, if I recall, also made his form of doing it more powerful. I would have to get back on you about that one for sure. Because I remember specifically they because of how his emoji card worked, he was able to breathe life into one of the mecha. I want to say it was the lobster Zord that he was able to do that for. But I really don't remember. It's been so long since I've watched Shinkenji. Which is funny, because that's probably my favorite season.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least top 5, for sure. Because, it was just so fun.
Okay.
But I do have to get going.
Yes.
I work again in about 12 hours.
Yes. Let's everyone say goodbye to Silva. I'm going to start doing my outro. Thank you for coming. And be sure to join the... I put the link in the Discord to the... whatchamacallit? Roll20 page. Once you join, I'll add you so that way you can control your character. And we'll talk about finding token images and figure out what we're going to do for art. And all that stuff. So, thank you for coming. And have yourself a good night. I will talk to you later.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Everyone say goodbye to Silva. Also, I should have asked. So you'd said... So Silva is how we all know you. Silva is how I know you in a lot of ways. But you talked about when you became a VTuber, VTubing as Safi, as that name.
Yes. So to explain, my avatar that you see on screen right now is based on my Final Fantasy XIV character, Sophia. I figured just having the person working on it would copying that would be easiest instead of coming up with something I might not like. Because I've for a long time liked everything about my character. I only changed it to the new race in Dawn Trail because I'm like, I want to play this for a while, and I also like that a lot. But yeah, Silva is my oldest online alias, as it's the romanization of the word silver used, and I took it from the character from Shaman King because he was my favorite character. He was just really cool. For the sake of simplicity on your streams, Silva is fine.
Okay.
But Safi, Sophia is also acceptable.
Okay.
And so are any pronouns. I really don't care what you use for me.
Okay. All right. Cool.
But I will say it is he, him preferred. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna get bent out of shape if you use they, them, he, she, her.
Okay.
We only get a problem when you start combining them.
Okay. I'm not sure
because that it's an RP thing. Like spelling her HIR.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's something that I've picked up as a little bit of a pet peeve because it's just like, so you're making a typo on purpose to try to represent something.
I won't get into the specifics of that, but you've clarified that that's something you're not comfortable with being addressed to you, so I will not do that. Have a good night. Yeah. I'm getting ready to do my outro, so I'm going to leave the voice chat. Okay.
All right, and I'm signing off. Good night, everybody.
All righty. Good night. All right, that was fun. It took me a little bit to get used to it. But now that I've learned more of the stuff of whatchamacallit? Now I've learned more of the stuff of Roll20. Sorry, I couldn't get the word out. I could not get the word out. Now that I've learned the specifics of Roll20, I think I can definitely use it to keep track of stuff. And making the mechs is relatively simple. As you all saw, it went pretty smoothly once I got rolling. Making the mech, you just need to like know what you want. Okay. All right, so I just put that in there, and then $15 EP, 3 EP regen. I'm going back through right now, and now that I know I can put descriptions on items, I'm putting specific descriptions on the items on Silva's on the Savior Gundam, so that way I can keep track of certain key things. Legs, got the mass-produced legs, which are 950 ton max weight, 300 foot, and 300 foot. Max weight, okay. 950 ton max weight. Okay, cool. Now, and then the armor I did as the cruiser steel. And then I just gotta put the description of the cruiser steel Mark 1, 13 plus dex modifier. He's got a little bit extra armor because it's supposed to be a leather. So it's supposed to be 11, but it's 13, so it's +2. But I think that's fine for like using the starting equipment for it. Overall, beam rapier, shoulder beam cannon. Yeah, and then Atherin. Cool. All right, awesome. Let's wind down for the night. Let's wind down. Let me switch over to I'm in the mech. Oh. All right. Alrighty, all right. Thank you all for coming. It's been great. We had a lot of people come through, which was very fun. And I'm grateful to all of you for sticking through. I know it looks like we had a big drop off at like, what time was that? Huh? We had a big drop off when we were partway through the character creation. I'm looking at the records. We lost like 5 people, which was funny. It's just funny looking at the number of people that came through. But Anyway, thank you all for coming. Let's do my outro. I've been trying to do this outro for a while, and I am neuro spicy. Neuro spicy. Oh, I got a Twitch ad in progress. Let's let the Twitch ad finish. How'd y'all like it? What'd y'all think? Now that I got the hang of this, I could probably build the character a lot easier. I'm probably going to build more characters. I might build my old stereotypical standby of I like to make a celestial warlock that acts as a heal bot for a party whenever they need some kind of like healing, just as like kind of a helper that just kind of travels with them. I like to make that as something sometimes, so I'll probably try making a warlock. So in this system, in the GITR system, warlocks are people with partner AIs that like they gain abilities from using this partner AI, and it's like you can have all kinds of stuff with the flavor of it. And I was a little bit wary of it first because I've gotten burnt out on dealing with NHP stuff with Lancer, but I feel like this is a different take. And I kind of like it. I was talking to Okusen about stuff, and Okusen was like, "Oh, continue the NHP Pantheon stuff," and I'm like, "Okay, I don't know if you're joking, but I'm not bringing over NHP lore. NHP lore is one of the most frustrating things for me from Lancer." But all right, I'm going to shout out everybody who came tonight, and then we are going to wind down and end for tonight. So we had Noel Main, Forever, Nabiru, Kimberly, Silva, there's more Noel Main, Multi-Star Chick, Hammy Burger, that was a new person. I hope Hammy Burger had some fun. LeMay was here. Julian the Vampire King popped in for a bit. Tabonius was here after a long time. And yeah, and to all of those people, and to anyone who I didn't mention, who watched the stream and didn't say anything in chat, and anyone who watches this VOD afterwards, I want to say to all of you, I love all of you, and I believe in each and every one of you. I think that you possess a unique, one-of-a-kind talent to make this world a better place by living in it in your own way. Thank you for making my life better. Thank you for making this stream better. Thank you for making this community better. I want you to know that you are important, you matter, and you are loved. I want you to know that your hopes and your dreams and your fears and your concerns are important and worthy of notice. You are valid, worthy of love, and deserving of happiness and good things. And I appreciate you. I'm grateful that you exist. Always remember the Star Hunter motto: shoot for the stars, have wonderful adventures, live your dreams, and always stop to enjoy the memes. I will. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, I ask that you like the stream. It helps the algorithm with pushing it out to more people. It lets more people know what I'm doing, and it's always great to have more people coming through. And it is just really helpful. Blah. If you want to keep up with what I'm doing, you can follow me on Twitch, or join my Discord, or follow me on Blue Sky Social or X or Twitter, or like my Facebook page. There are links to all of those things in the description down below on YouTube and on the About page on Twitch. And big thank you to V from the YouTube channel. My wife is the MC. He's the husband of Husbando Homebrew. Big thanks to him for designing GITR and this homebrew that we explored tonight. I may make my own changes and tweaks and homebrews and edits to it, but it is still originally his design, and I appreciate that. My brain is fried. Been fighting with systems all night. Also, if you have any friends or neighbors or aunts or uncles, relatives, co-workers, best friends, neighbors, arch nemesis, enemy to lover, lovers to friends, anyone you think might enjoy my content, feel free to show them my content and invite them to the next stream. Next stream is going to be Monday, 8:30 p.m. EST. And I look forward to seeing all of you there. Have yourselves a wonderful night. One last thing, I promise. You do not have to donate to be here. You do not have to give money to be welcome in this community. I value all of you for your time, your attention, and your energy. I value having you as a member of this community. With that said, I do appreciate the people who do donate, who do help make things possible, and who have helped me do things that I could not have done on my own. I would not be where I am without the help of others. And I appreciate all of you. If you ever feel motivated to donate to improve the stream, to improve my life, to help me out with any number of things, there are links where you can do so down below in the description on YouTube and on the donate button on Twitch. In the description on YouTube, there's links to Ko-fi and PayPal. PayPal, where you can do one-time donation, and Ko-fi, where you can do one-time donation or sign up for repeated monthly donations. If you're going to do a one-time donation, I do prefer you do PayPal because I keep more of the money. As for the monthly donations on Ko-fi, there's not currently any reward set for them, but if it's more of people saying they want to have a tangible way to say how much they appreciate my content, and I appreciate the people who do so. And again, the donate button on Twitch just takes you to Ko-fi, where you can do one-time donation or monthly donation. Thank you all for coming. And let me see. Do we have... I do not feel like raiding anyone right now. I want to tinker with this. I'm probably going to, after I get off stream, I'm probably going to tinker with flipping, whatchamacallit, Roll20 some more now that I'm getting the hang of it. So I'm going to make some food and then tinker with some Roll20. I might make some more characters. We'll see how it goes. Might explore some stuff. I gotta get used to it. I like the freeformness of Roll20. Have yourselves a great night, everybody.